didn't really have like a concept, or I guess there was not really a meaning behind this piece when I first started. But I did want to do something with like a moon in the center, and I wanted to do something that had blue and orange because those are like my favorite colors. I have a lot of paintings that are like blue and orange. I wanted to more so capture a feeling and not focus too much on like the actual concept behind it. It might be a while until I figure out what this piece means. That's okay. I mean, some pieces are kind of like dreams where, you know, you have the dream, you wake up, and it doesn't really make sense at first. And then as you're going throughout your day, you're like, oh shit, that's where that came from in my dream. It's kind of like that, where your subconscious is kind of making it up as you go, and then you figure out how it correlates to reality or your life in some way afterwards. So I'm not really trying to think too hard into what this means exactly, just trying to more so just capture the feeling from within and trying to display that on the canvas. I feel like that's kind of like the strength of my work, is just capturing how I feel on the inside.
Yo, I live it and I speak it. My religion is reefer. Big money and emotion inhibited. Freak to sleep with. My visions are realistic. Nothing's figurative. I can wish it into existence. God want this nigga to live.
There's a couple little ideas that are in the back of my head, and I'm like, oh, I'm definitely gonna do that someday. But this one, there was no like planning for at any point. I just took a chair and sat down in front of the canvas for like 15 minutes and just stared at the blank canvas and let my mind cycle through like hundreds of images until I found a couple of ones that I really liked, and I started to pair them together and mash them, and I kind of came up with this image. And still, it's kind of vague to me in some areas, but that's kind of the fun of it. It'd take me a lot longer if I had the full image in my head already. Giant eyeball, making up some creatures here. And what's funny is that some of these creatures are actually going to be inspired from like creatures that I came up with when I was like 8 or 9 years old. I'd be sitting in church, be so bored out of my mind. I don't even know what the pastor is saying anymore, and I'm just like, I'm imagining I'm this like white tiger that's made out of like clouds that's flying through the air. And so that's kind of what this creature here is going to be. This is a technique I learned from the painter Diego Rivera. He painted this crazy mural in Detroit back in the 20s, I believe. He's this Mexican painter. It's this crazy industrial painting that was like 40 feet long. And there's a little bit of footage of him on YouTube working on it, and he would move his brush back and forth really fast like this to get shading in. But it's also really speedy. It makes sense why he would work like this, because if you're doing a mural that big and something that detailed, you want to be moving your brush fast and just getting things done in a timely manner. Definitely very inspired by DMT, I think. Kind of that vortex feeling that you feel after you take like 1 or 2 hits. You know, your face feels like it's being pulled into a vortex in a sense. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of the goal with this piece here, is combine the feeling of blasting off on DMT, but also some cool visuals that come from my imagination. Because I've never tripped in a place like this before or anything, but it's what I'd like to see, you know. Probably doesn't look like anything right now, but just give it some time. I'm not going to rush this piece because I want it to come out as good as I could get it. A little bit too red there, but we'll figure it out. We'll just do something with this. Something else. Stick it in a little paint because I don't want it too bold. I kind of want to layer it on like it's watercolor to give me a lot more opportunities. I don't want to close off too many open ends just yet, so I have a lot more choices at my disposal. That's what's great about acrylic paint, is water changes everything about it. A lot of people, when they start off doing acrylic paintings, they like to just have the paint, the brush, and just put it right on. But you start experimenting with water and a little acrylic, I feel like there's a lot more possibilities. Alright, we are done with that, so we're gonna go out here, take a breath of fresh air, and look at some nature. Alright, so along with the paintings, I've also been working on a lot of digital artwork. Right now I'm currently making some animations for a future YouTube video that'll be out. This one is pretty short right now. I have like 81 frames to fill in, but you'll see more of that later. Here's another animation that I was also working on. Just for fun, I'll probably use this in a video or two. We'll see. And here's one that I finished recently. I think this one's my best one so far. That one was pretty cool. And then outside of that, I have been doing some other commission work for clients and also some future shirt designs. So here's one that we have right now. This one has two heads on it, and then I'm going to illustrate a body kind of from this downwards perspective here as they're sitting cross-armed, and maybe I'll have kind of a little world coming out of the from the center here. So I'm really excited for this one. Outside of that, here's a pretty cool looking eyeball I've been working on. Super detailed in the middle. And sometimes we make synthetic ads where I go on Procreate and I take some of the pictures that we got from our photo shoots and I illustrate over them. So here's one that I did where you see there's these yellow strands coming out of my eyeball, and as you can see here there's a sun on the shirt, so I decided to illustrate that sun in the corner here. Pretty cool. And then here is a design that I did recently for a tattoo commission, and then I colorized it. Pretty happy with how this one turned out. I like the balance of the orange with the black and white. I think it makes for a great piece. And then here is an experiment that I did the other day. I think this would make for a really cool album cover, but I combined some more surreal styles with this like childhood imagination type style down here. See, he's a little kid that's pointing at this main dude in the middle here. I titled this one Lost Dreams, but I also included different things like this anime character in the top right corner, which is something I've never really done before, and I was really proud of myself for being able to do that without using any references. But moving along, we'll go down here. Here are some experiments that I've done with the symmetry tools. As you can see, we have multiple faces. Go here, this one is just a quick sketch of some Deadpools. As a kid, I used to be really into drawing comic book superheroes, so drawing Deadpool is something that just comes natural to me. And I haven't drawn superheroes in many years, so this was kind of a fun little project to do. Here is a sketch for a painting that I'm going to be working on soon. This one is titled Walking on a Dream. It's actually commissioned for Ryan, that it will be on a 4-foot by 4-foot canvas. As you can see, we have a character here that is running on some clouds that is going all the way up to maybe some kind of cloud palace. I haven't completely figured it out yet, but it's going to be pretty abstract and colorful when I get to the final piece. Thank you guys for watching the video. Here is a 1-minute snippet of one of my piano songs that I made earlier this year.